boys and girls, we're back for another week of lessons. We're going to be doing geometry still, so let's continue. Again, the notes are with the assignment, so if you want to look at it, and then the textbook page is going to be 330 to 331, and the workbook page is workbook page 121. Okay, so we're going to be talking about different kinds of lines. Remember, lines are straight and they have arrows at the ends, which means they continue in both directions. So if the lines cross at a point, they're called intersecting lines. So when they cross each other. Like think of like when you're on the street, you know, where two streets meet and there's a light or a stop sign, that's called an intersection. The streets cross each other. That's an intersecting. So that means to cross. So if, for example, if we have this example, right, we have line AB and line CD, and the point that they cross is at point E. So you would write it, line AB and line CD intersect at point E. It's where they cross, okay? The next type is called a perpendicular line, which are also lines that cross. So perpendicular lines are intersecting, but they don't cross anyway. They have to cross to form a right angle. So it has to be straight, 90 degrees on all sides. So 4 total right angles, because they're going straight up and straight across. If it's going like sideways, that's not gonna be a perpendicular. That's just intersecting. See how this is like an X and this one is more like a cross. So that's the difference. So the way you would read it is you would say line FG is perpendicular to line HI. And when you write it, you write remember the symbol for line, the little arrows on top of the 2 letters. And the symbol for perpendicular is like an upside down T. So like this. Right, like an upside down T. So that would be how you would say it's perpendicular to line HI. Okay, again, if you look at the notes, it has it, and if you look in the page of your textbook, it has it. Also your workbook. Yeah, your workbook also shows it to you at the top. It has like little examples. So that's the symbol that you would use. Now the last type is called parallel lines. Parallel lines are on the same plate, so they're going the same direction, so they never meet. Okay, think of like railroad tracks, right? Railroad tracks always go next to each other, but they never cross each other. They stay going in the same direction. They never meet. Or like monkey bars, right? The 2 sides of the monkey bars, they keep going, they never cross. That would be very complicated. So parallel lines are like that. They keep going the same way and they don't cross each other. Okay, so the way that you would read it is line KL is parallel to line MN. And the way you write it is you write the line KL parallel, or just 2 lines next to each other, like a number 11, line MN. So that's how you would write that those 2 lines are parallel. Okay, so let's go over some examples quickly so that then you can do your workbook page. So for example, if they're asking you to identify the type of line, this one would be what? They're 2 lines, they're going the same way, and they're not gonna cross. So what are those called? Parallel lines. Right, so great. Parallel. Okay. These 2 cross at a certain point, right here, this point, but they don't make a right angle. How do you know it makes a right angle? It has the little box, right? That signifies, that identifies it as a right angle. So if it doesn't have that little box, then that's not going to be a right angle. So since they cross, they are intersecting lines, right? Now the one that does have the little box, that means it's 90-degree angle, means that these are perpendicular lines. Okay? Again, the sign for perpendicular is like an upside down T. The sign for intersecting, there's no sign, you just say it's intersecting. And the sign for parallel is 2 lines, like a number 11, also like the 2 L's in the word parallel. That'll help you remember it. Okay? Then they'll probably give you an example with a bunch of different lines. Don't get overwhelmed. Relax, you can handle it. So we're gonna look for 2 lines that are perpendicular to each other. What does that mean? That they form right angles. We don't have any little box boxes because I forgot. But this one is one, this one is one. Down here is also all of those. Right? Okay, so now we have the little boxes. Wait, what are two lines that are perpendicular there? Well, we could say that line A, D, right? You look all the way through to the 2 points. That gives you like the name of the line. So it would be line A, D. We have to put the symbol perpendicular to line, what? What's the line that it crosses? I, J. Right? We could also have done it the other way around, because that IJ is perpendicular to AD. Also line EH, right, is perpendicular to line IJ. So that was another option that you could put. Okay, then it asks KL intersects line AD at what point? So we have to find line KL. So we look at the ends, KL, right? It intersects line AD. Remember, intersects means that it crosses or it meets at a point. So we have to see, where do these two lines meet? Right here. You see that they meet at point C. So you could write the symbol, point C, or you can write the words, point C. Either way is fine. Okay, so that's where they intersect. And then an example of two parallel lines. So parallel means that they're running in the same direction, they're moving the same way, and they're not going to cross, they're not going to meet. Even if the lines would keep going and going and going, they're never going to meet because they're not going to turn. They're going to continue going straight how they are. So we take a look, IJ and KL, no, because if this line kept going, right, and this one kept going, they would cross there. So no, those are not going in the same direction. But if we look here, we have these two lines. So again, line AD, it's parallel, remember the two little lines, the number 11, to line EH. Okay? Again, this is just a lesson basically on vocabulary of geometry. Geometry is a lot of just understanding the terms. So use the notes, pause the video if you want to write them down so you can continue practicing note taking, because eventually next year when you come back to school you're going to have to take notes. The teacher's not just going to give you notes. So if you want to do that, go ahead. Or if you want to look at it while you're doing the lesson, you can print it out or put it on the screen or use your textbook.